What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Oddshopper channel, coming to you with a first Monday edition of, in a long time, Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks, MLB, NBA. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I am very, very under the weather today. You're not feeling 100%, but, I'm pushing on. And obviously my Timberwolves made me feel a lot better here a little bit ago. Being able to finish that off, going up 3-1 against the Lakers. What a time to be alive. Did not see that one coming down the pipeline this season, but hey, we will take it. We'll move along. If you guys want to check out the premium Discord, it was not the best weekend that I've ever had over there. Very light on Saturday as I was trying to rest up. Didn't try to bitch too much in there, so that was fine. But then Sunday, just not a great day of dingers, and I've been running really well. We hit 5 of 6 days, Sunday through Friday. Obviously, Friday was an awesome day. It was on Kyle Kerm's show. Covered all of my bets there, and then obviously gave everything here on this video. We'll get everything recapped. I promise you it's coming here down the pipeline. We have about 2 weeks. Also, if that guy puts the comment section again with the record and understands that, like, home runs, nobody on earth is going to be hitting 500. You're just not. Stop it. You are so ridiculous putting that there. I don't think he even understands. He, she, whomever they are. They definitely don't understand the fact that home run life is definitely going to have more losses than wins. Now, obviously, I see Twitter all the time posting 3 home run parlays. And hey, we've hit a couple of 2 home run parlays if you had comboed a couple of them together in the premium Discord, because that's something people like to do. I don't always do it all the time. Fired it up here and there, but we're doing just fine here on this season. This weekend, though, not the best. And that was only premium Discord, not this video. Thank God I didn't have this video out over the weekend, or there would have been some unhappy people. So anyway, overall, it is much better to be in that premium Discord. This I know. Lindy 5 plus Eitan Shander had an awesome weekend. I tailed some of his stuff in the Shander shop. You guys got to check that out. We also have Greg Ehrenberg in that premium Discord. He is telling you the future, because his futures betting is just absolutely out of control. So both awesome channels to check out within the Lindy and Friends Discord. $5 when you use promo code Lindy5. We'll talk about that a little later. But of course, why did I talk so much in the onset? Because we don't have a ton of games today. 8 in the MLB, 2 in the NBA, only 2 in the NBA. Yeah, it's going to be that season. Whew. It's going to be a lot of baseball. Might need to throw some golf at the end of this program on Wednesdays. Producer Jacob's like, not the worst idea. I like to gamble with my friends. Pretty good at golf betting. Do it in the shadows. The League of Shadows. Why do people hate The Dark Knight Rises? It's fantastic. I was born in it. All right, let's get to the picks. Producer Jacob liked my idea for maybe some PGA at the end of this. That makes me happy. And also, it's how I got my start in 2014 when I really started getting into sports betting. I'm like, why is everybody better at this? And then I was driving to Vegas every week, and it was a whole thing. I'm married now. Less driving to Vegas. Also, the internet exists, and we can all bet from everywhere. So anyway, we got ourselves 5 leans, 3 plays in the MLB streets, 1 play in the NBA streets, no locks on the card, but got a couple of locks through. Ended up on a full unit Atlanta on Friday. That was also very, very nice. I appreciate them. And then the Braves just go completely stone cold dead over the weekend. Just some ridiculous stuff. How about Eugenio Suarez, though? They end up losing the game where he hits 4 home runs. Oh, what a time to be alive. Anyway, they ended up going 2 or 3. They just simply lost on Sunday. I'm over exaggerating. But the Mets in Washington, probably the craziest game of the entire day today. We were in the Discord, and obviously somebody, usually on something here or there that I'm obviously not, and just entertained to be paying attention. The Mets go up way early in that one. In fact, they had 5 runs in the first, and the Mets, in Mets fashion, find a way to lose that baseball game 8-7. Oh my goodness, it must be tough to be a Mets fan. But I will say this, I'm a little surprised to see the line this wide, or the fact that my modeling actually likes the -1.5 side, because we haven't been on a lot of run lines this season. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. The numbers have gotten exponentially more efficient. Also, early season MLB, I do try to combine 2024 data, 2025 data, and there's teams like the Baltimore Orioles. Did you know the Baltimore Orioles are second worst in run differential heading into the evening window? I don't think the Phillies and Cubs are a part of that conversation, but I was uploading my sheet. Second worst run differential in baseball next to the Colorado Rockies. That seems impossible, but hey man, teams change, things change, and Baltimore doesn't have pitching. They really lost out on that. No Corbin Burns, nobody else out there. Dean Kramer, ain't it? Anyway, now we can talk about this. Griffin Canning going up against Washington. Trevor Williams, did I mention that there's only 8 games, so we have plenty of time to screw around on the onset? But Griffin Canning, 47.3% hard hit. He's going up against a Washington team that finally has some pieces. I mean, that CJ Abrams acquisition has worked out very nicely, especially because Juan Soto isn't even in San Diego anymore. He's bounced around to like 3 teams since he was with Washington. So San Diego, Mets, Yankees. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, James Wood has been an absolute god. You got Dylan Cruz starting to hit, 282 expected batting average. He's always been a runner, always had power against lefties, but even Griffin Canning going to be giving up some power to righties as well. And yet Trevor Williams has just not been it for me at all. 18.2 degree average launch angle, decent enough weather as this game starts at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. I definitely have my eyes set on -1.5 New York if I had to do anything right now. Again, I don't have any of the first 5 numbers, and I really, really think that there's a world where we just kind of condense this into Canning versus Williams, but need to see those numbers first. Twins going up against the Guardians, and shout out Nolan Jones for Sunday, finally going yard. And one thing that I've just always just kind of accepted about myself, hot streaks, cold streaks. I like to buy hitters when they're kind of off, and I like to sell and not go back to the well on a lot of hitters when they're quote unquote hot. Now, the main reason is that you're not exactly getting a price discount, but one guy who's just kind of driven me a little nuts this year is Nolan Jones. So I wanted to kind of cover him. He gets Bailey Ober, who's just been awful to start off this season, only a 20.9% K rate. And if he doesn't have that, he gives up hard, high fly ball content, 21.2 degree launch angle. Yeah, I said content and contact, and content that will be from contact, which is lefty power going yah on him. But Nolan Jones is up to a 12.5 degree launch angle. That was sitting lower. And one thing I also like to pay attention to is if there's hitters that haven't had great results that continue to be in the top 4 of lineups. And some people are like, oh, Vlad Guerrero Jr., he's not doing. And then he goes yard and everybody goes quiet again, or just realizes that he's still going to be just fine over the course of a long-term sample size. But you get the wind. This is the main thing to pay attention to. Blowing across the field here at the moment, projected for tomorrow. Kind of want to take a look again, but Nolan Jones still was batting cleanup. I also want to see if John Kenzie Noel ends up in that lineup, because that is a dude where if he isn't in the lineup, you've seen some pinch hitting situations for him to come in for Nolan Jones. So we got to pay very close attention to that. But anything outside of plus 450, I think I'll end up on the card with Nolan Jones homer. Kind of the same way that I feel about Wyatt Langford here. Wyatt Langford going up against the A's and JP Sears. This is an interesting one. You probably expected I would just be blindly betting against Patrick Corbin, but I get a little bit worried when you get a team like Oakland traveling back across, Texas traveling back across. I don't know what we get for the full lineup, but Wyatt Langford ends up getting the day off on Sunday. Some guys across the league getting the day off. Their Orioles just played nobody in their main lineup. They need to probably take them all to therapy or something at the moment. But JP Sears, 452 expected slugging, 19.6 degree launch angle. It almost seems like 2 square peg, square hole type deal, but we don't have home run numbers. Again, these have been very auspiciously held back on Sunday nights. Maybe like, I don't know if they just want us to bet NBA until then. I have all the NBA stuff I have for 2 days, and then MLB's been done forever, and yet I'm just sitting here waiting for the numbers, but got to be better than plus 340 on Wyatt Langford. Again, I think he ends up on the card there, and Patrick Corbin is a favorite in the year of our Lord 2025, and I'm not going to do anything about it. Who am I? Atlanta taking on the Rockies in Coors. Colorado not having to go anywhere, although they deserve shame and reprimand for the fact that they put up 1 run in the best hitting environment of the entire season. Nick Lodolo spun an absolute gem, only 2 hits in 7 innings. Ridiculous stuff for a curveball heavy pitcher at altitude, but that just tells you the quality of this Colorado lineup. This is like, they are this year's White Sox. And it's unfortunate because they play in a very, very target-rich environment for hitting. Wind was blowing out today. It was over 80 degrees. And I'm not a huge, it's not like books don't look at the weather too. I say that all the time. You have to understand that those are things that happen. But what changes is that you get external spots here where that right tail goes out forever, where you could see 12-10 ball games. That has to be projected in, whereas 1-0 ball games, not something that are going to happen in Coors Field all that often anyway, even with the two best pitchers in baseball. Look at Clayton Kershaw and his results in Coors Field. Not great, Bob. Not great. Traditionally, one of the best pitchers that's ever existed when healthy, which is been rare in recent years. But we got the Braves and Rockies. Braves getting to go from Arizona, where it was really good hitting weather for the last couple of days. They ended up having the roof closed on Sunday, but the roof open the 2 previous days. Pretty useful stuff for them. You get Bryce Elder, not a huge fan of his by any means, but can Ryan McMahon, Michael Toglia, Brenton Doyle, Mickey Moniak. You're just looking for these guys to go out and try to hit like solo shots, doubles in the gap, doing a lot of ridiculousness there. And that's asking a lot, especially with a taxed bullpen that has not been doing well. Worst bullpen in baseball at altitude. Ryan Feltner, I generally like to back, but Atlanta -1.5 is basically screaming at me in this one. I think they'd be more likely to make the card than the Mets -1.5 is, although I think the Mets Washington have more other game pieces that I'm interested in, if that makes any sense. Rounding it all out, Miami taking on the Doyers. And anytime I see a +2.5 at open, I start to really question my existence, because you gotta feel as though with Dustin May on the mound, getting 2.5 with Edward Cabrera right now just has to be in play. I mean, Edward Cabrera has been so much better this season at avoiding hard contact. 35% hard hit. This guy was at 45.7% last season. Now, some can say it's small sample size, and look at the 3 teams they've played. Washington, Arizona, Cincy, and where did they play them? All 3 at home. This will be his first road test, and it's going to be against the Dodgers. Now, my data says this is technically a play, and I'm not going to do it, and mainly because it's Edward Cabrera first start outside of Miami. But if that number gets any shorter, it's right now -130 at open here at ESPN. If it gets to like -110, which is definitely in play with Dustin May, I think you have to entertain it, because Dustin May, we just saw it last time out. He's still mistake prone. And despite having really good stuff and hopefully being a 4th or 5th starter for this Dodger team, he goes up against the Cubs and gets completely shelled. 7 earned, 10 hits. Now, the Cubs have had the #1 WAR lineup, wins above a replacement, out there in the old. Ketel Marte said he expects to return next weekend. That's good to know. Always watching the news. Always watching. Look at the baby. Look at the baby. But anyway, Dustin May just definitely doesn't inspire greatness here. Back half of the Dodgers lineup shouldn't be getting this kind of respect, although Page's 5th home run today. I was a little surprised to see him get up to 5 before a lot of notable guys. They all play for Baltimore. Like, he has 5 homers as the 9-hole hitter for the Dodgers, 8-hole hitter sometimes against lefties, but like, didn't expect to see that from Baltimore. Anyway, we're talking about Miami and Los Angeles. Rounding it out in the lean department, pay close attention. Yeah, if that vig comes down a little bit, we're going to have to entertain it. But let's get to some actual baseball plays, shall we? But first, Lindy 5, if you guys want to get all of my plays for tomorrow, hey, let's find out what I get going in the Mets-Washington game in the morning. If you guys want to see all of my home run plays, my official home run plays, which we'll talk about 2 that I definitely have interest in coming up here when we get to one of the lakes, that is for sure. But Lindy 5, it's just $5 for your first week. If you guys want to jump in there and try it out, then it's $20 for a week, $50 for a month here at the moment. And well, it's not just myself, and that's the beauty of this. I want to make it affordable to all, but I also want to give you the best bang for your buck. I also have Eitan Shander in there, and Eitan here at Odd Shopper, one of the sharper dudes when it comes to the parlay streets, when it comes to some of the alt lines that you're looking at in the NBA. We also have Greg Ehrenberg in terms of futures. It's good times in the Lindy Discord. I can't tell you how awesome the community has been, and also been tailing more and more people. I wish I didn't tail the UFC guy on Saturday. That didn't go well. Prates. Yeah, he got lit up. Ian Machado Gary, the cuck he is. Anyway, Lindy 5 down at the link below. $5 for your first week. To the picks we go. I apologize to Ian Machado Gary and his entire family. He seems like a really nice guy. He kept tapping gloves like in a nice way, and I'm like, he's going to murder this dude, and that is exactly what happened. Carved him up. Tried to get knocked down the 5th, but anyway, this isn't a UFC show today. People want my UFC, and I just tail other people, and that I have no idea what I'm doing. It's fun to bet on, though. Had good results. Well, yeah, baseball, the Yankees taking on the Orioles here. I promise I'm not just trying to kill time here forever, but it is an interesting spot to say the very least, because I am not a big Tomoyuki Sagano guy. Tomoyuki Sagano has been brutal to start off this season. 390 xWOBA, 572 expected slugging, only an 8% K rate. The only thing he's good at is avoiding walks. And congratulations. Last 2 outings, 7 innings pitched. 7. That was against the Guardians at home. It was against the Nationals on the road. Maybe that gives him some hope, but he still gave up 5 earned over the course of those 2 outings. Again, in 14 innings, that's not apocalyptic by any means, but his underlying numbers are just brutal. He's 35 years of age already. I don't think they expect a ton out of him, but I brought this up earlier if you weren't listening. The Baltimore Orioles have the 2nd worst run differential in baseball at minus 39. That seems impossible, but it is. That's bad. And now they're going to take on Will Warren, who isn't great himself, 24.1% K rate, 48.2% hard hit, but I just have a better time trusting the Yankees will just hook him and go to the bullpen if anything goes wrong in any way, shape, or form. And then I also do not like Sagano's underlying numbers that I still think have regression pinned on them. Again, 2 better outings, starting to figure it out somewhat at the big league level, but Yankees, AL East, maybe things change, but I'm more than happy to be laying this price here with the Yankees squad that just overall, top to bottom, been the much, much better producer of the 2 going into this season. Didn't see that coming down the pipeline, but your first play on the board is just a 9-inning straightforward money line. And you know what? That's not the only one of those that I have on the card. Next, the Cardinals and the Reds. And this is, if you made me pick my favorite play, I think this is my favorite play. Plus 105, St. Louis. Why? Why, I'm asking. Guys, one of the things you have to be paying attention to is, I don't care about like travel schedule normally. I mean, I brought it up kind of in a joking around way, both teams traveling from the West Coast back to Texas and Arlington in that spot. But we're talking Cincinnati that was just at altitude, watching curveballs. Well, not really curving because they were coming from Colorado Rockies pitchers. But anywho, it is definitely going to be accentuated once you get back to regular sea legs when you get here into Cincinnati. And St. Louis, they get Andre Palante, who is an extreme ground ball pitcher. Now, I bring this up a lot when I talk about some of the ground ball pitchers that you think of historically in baseball, but Andre Palante, the hard hit doesn't bother me as much as long as it continues this 67.4% ground ball percentage. Why is that? Because when the ball gets in the air, bad things happen. When the ball goes to the ground, you have a lot of fielders who are mathematically devoting space and time to get to the baseball. And you can't shift anymore, but you can certainly put yourself in advantageous situations based on who it is. And I think overall, this St. Louis team, they've got some sneaky good hitters. And this is where you get to go up against a guy like Nick Martinez, who has definitely outperformed every expectation I could have had for him when he's last couple of years. Going back to 2022, 3.83 expected ERA, 3.98 expected ERA, 3.19 expected ERA, and his results have been better in the actual ERA department. And last year, over 2,000 pitches, only a 3.2% walk rate, but he's more than doubled that this season. He's now 34 years of age with a lot of tread on the tires, both here in the major leagues, going back to 2015 when he was just coughing up snowballs and just getting eviscerated, then going overseas, going to the KBO, and then coming back over here and finding some form. But he's got higher than double the walk rate of last season. He's got a 5.40 ERA to start off the season, 4.41 expected ERA, and look at who he's faced. San Francisco at home, Milwaukee, San Francisco again, Seattle, Miami. That is far from a murderer's row. I would actually argue that with the lefties that are existent in this lineup for the St. Louis side, this is his most difficult start of the season. And the weather's getting nicer in Cincinnati. And we get a ground ball pitcher to back. Yeah, give me the plus money on the St. Louis side. Got this closer to like 52% expected win percentage on St. Louis. So I have the price closer to like the inverse, minus 105. So I'll take the plus money. But one step further, said I was going to bring it up. One of these two more than likely on the card. Lowell's Newtball, 16.1 degree launch angle, 453 expected slugging. And Brendan Donovan, 9.2 degree launch angle, 579 expected slugging. But 18.2 degree average launch angle for Nick Martinez. Yes, he's found ways to keep the hard hit off for now, but you start giving me plus 350 or better for either one of those, and I think we get in on both tomorrow. Yeah, it might be round robin season. I didn't hit my round robin Sunday. 1 for 2, even though this one hurt a lot more than the other one because, well, we only made $8 on the other one. St. Louis money line, though, my favorite play of the day. Next. Detroit at Houston. Man, we have really gotten to talk in depth about some things. Let's just talk straightforward about two starting pitchers that I love and two bullpens that I think are going to be very, very good going forward. We've got Jack Flaherty, 30.6% K rate, 309 xWOBA, 38.8% hard hit percentage. Does have that launch angle up, but being a righty there in Houston, where lefty power, there's really only one guy you got to worry about on the left side. It's Yordan Alvarez, who constructed the Houston team. All they want to do is get pull hitters. Isaac Paredes, who's the guy that they acquired from Baltimore? Here we go. Trey Mancini. That's where my brain goes. Extreme pull hitter. You look at his map, it goes to the Crawford boxes. You're just trying to find those short porch baby Jose Altuve home runs. Oh, little baby home runs. But anyway, I like the under of this baseball game. It's sitting at 8, not the greatest number to be snagging because 4-4, well, you're screwed. But under 8 looks great considering two pens that I like, far above average. You got a number of neutralized factors. Obviously, the lefty's a little bit more important on the Detroit side that we need to keep them at bay. Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, Kerry Bonds, I like to call him that. But Ronel Blanco, 31% hard hit, has the fly ball tendencies, but if he keeps the ball in the yard, should be in a really good spot to continue doing what he's been doing. And that's just overachieve here in a Houston uniform. Love his last 2 seasons. Shout out him for finding a way to do it. 3.62 expected ERA is better than last year, yet the results have been worse. You know what happens? You buy low. This should be at 7.5. So under 8, we like it. And we move along to NBA. And as we do, if you guys want to check out a great sports book in Bet365, damn good find. I'll suck it to you one more time. Bet 5. Get 150 and an 18-wheeler. Whatever, she's naked, whatever the song is. Iowa, Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Illinois, Louisiana, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, and North Carolina. Come on and raise up, take your shirt off, twist it around your head, spin it like a helicopter, and then sign up for Bet365 because it's available in your states down below. That is Bet365. Check them out. Bet 5 when you deposit $10 or more. Bet anything minus 500 or greater and get 150 in bonus bets, win or lose. It's only if you're 21 and over, 18 and over in Kentucky. If you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, to the NBA, 2 games, super quick. Yeah, Cleveland minus 8.5 against Miami. And I got to say one thing about this, because my modeling for this game is kind of laughable. It's actually very laughable because does Miami really go and try to go full bore into this game, play their dudes 42 minutes, 44 minutes, and try to win? Or does Spo really spread it out because they're playing a way better basketball team? I don't know. All I know is Darius Garland didn't even play last game, and it didn't even matter what your name is because Ty Jerome continues to be that dude. DeAndre Hunter showing out why Cleveland went and got him and got a wing, even though Karis LeVert probably going to be a good piece for Atlanta going forward, and probably, Darko ranks him higher if you care about the Darko modeling. I surely do. I'm a nerd. Anyway, Cleveland, minus 8.5. My whole thing is that they want to get this series done with, but props look so efficient across the board. You don't want to get chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes you're used to. This is a 210.5 total. I have no idea what Spo is going to do because I really don't see him pushing minutes to a crazy amount unless something miraculous happens. Plus, Cleveland's just ran them out of the gym. I looked at first half numbers. They're up to 5.5 here on the Cleveland side. If that drops back to 4.5, we could entertain it, I suppose, and just think that they blitzkrieg pop them in the first half. But for right now, I'm just going to be leaning Cleveland 8.5. Even though the modeling during the regular season, I would be taking Miami with the points, but this is not the regular season. Cleveland, you accentuate their minutes. They're a way better basketball team. They haven't had to play full bore minutes because they've just waxed the Heat here in this spot. Yeah, Darius Garland, that status really matters. And if you have a feel for it, let me know. But I surely don't. Left great toe sprain. Think he plays. I have no idea. Next game. Let's get to an actual play. So I'm a little bit mad at myself, a little bit ticked off. Now, Saturday, super light day, NBA, MLB. I know I've been saying this a lot, the last couple of weekends. Some of these numbers have been insanely efficient. It's been very hard to find an edge, I believe, relative to what we had the last month of the regular season. And I think the results, when we were doing all of the results here for you, throwing it out there, every single thing, forward facing, end of the week. And again, we will get back to it here. Producer Jacob goes to Europe and I feel sick. We will get it all updated. I will have an onslaught of sheets to be sharing. And plus we had Lindy's Locks Live, sharing that as the week progressed, still ended up profitable in that, profitable over the month of tracking for the NBA. It's all going to be all right. But I just think it's been very tough sledding, but I'm mad because I had 6 plays that I had circled, identified that I was really targeting in this game specifically. 5 of the 6 hit. And the one that I added last second ended up being Brandon Pajemski 15 plus. And he barely even saw foul trouble, didn't even look entirely right, started being a little bit more assertive at the end of that game, put up 10 points, needed 15. But I parlayed that with Steph Curry only for a quarter unit. But you know what? Sometimes it's those small plays that you're able to get for like a plus 320, plus 360, whereas where it ended up at BetMGM, that you're able to really buoy your bankroll and sustain some of the swings. So I was mad that Pajemski ended up being the ad. Should have just played this straight the way that I always do, like 99% of the time. But I apologize. Again, that was not the best choice by me. And plus, I think that it was a very thin play in hindsight when I look at it. All 4 of my unders hit, and that pissed me off even more. Somebody put them all together as I was posting them in Prize Picks thing. And Jimmy Butler ended up out. So kind of every situation about that changed. But Jimmy Butler's questionable. So that's 2 big Q tags that exist in both of these games. Darius Garland, the former, this one in the latter. And I think this one obviously could go either way. You are up 2-1. He took a hard fall. I think producer Jacob and I both agree. Oh boy, Jimmy Butler. If he just didn't play the rest of the series, it wouldn't be that shocking to either of us. But I think you got to try to get him out on the floor if he's good to go. Sounds like he was feeling a little bit better. Wasn't too overactive on the bench. I know that's a weird thing to throw out there, but I think Jimmy Butler playing would obviously downgrade this play to some extent. Or does it? Steph Curry over 26.5 points is inside of minus 110. Now it closed at 28.5 there when you got Jimmy Butler out. I don't agree. They were at 26.5 here because you're at home with Steph Curry. You're at home with Steph Curry, and they have found ways of getting him open. And Buddy Hield can knock down shots the way that he did last game. That really opens up the floor because you can't just run away. Buddy Hield in motion knocking down some shots. It was pretty impressive, actually. Jimmy Butler doesn't want him to dribble, so there's that. Anyway, Steph over 26.5 points. I like it. Very, very sad that I had to attach his 30 plus to the Pajemski play on Saturday. Won't make that mistake again. And that does it for an MLB and NBA edition, Monday edition, first one in 2 weeks edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for producer Jacob and everybody here at the Odd Shopper channel. Lindy5, if you guys want to check out the Discord. Again, just $5 to come kick it with me. Come see what all the hype's about. Plus, thank God I've been tailing some of the other cards to some other people over the weekend. Again, very, very light play on Saturday. Sunday was not my best day at all, but last week, overall in the green. Plus, the home runs were really rocking at the beginning of last week into the tail end of the week, and then the weekend happened. So let's get back on track in the home run department. Lowell's new ball, Brendan Donovan, anyone? That'd be fun. We'll see the Langford one. We'll see. I should just stop talking. We have things to do. Until next time, friends, thank you, producer Jacob. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB and NBA streets here on Monday.